Hey everybody, I think many people know sweets like Ferrero Rocher. We decided to make one such candy, but of gigantic size. Let's see what's inside it first. It has chocolate with nuts on the outside, then a crispy layer, chocolate paste and hazelnuts. Everything's clear. To begin with, we will buy the groceries we need. We bought milk chocolate, a lot of sugar, 2 boxes of cocoa powder, 2 boxes of butter, 5 kilograms each. We don't need anything else in the store, so we go to the checkout. Our check came out to $190. We also bought a bag of crispy rice, 10 kilograms of peanuts, and a bag of hazelnuts to order. All this cost around $136. We decided to use such large iron cauldrons as molds. For convenience, we bend to the fasteners and remove the handles. We turn the cauldrons over, wrap them with cling film. To make a crispy layer, we'll use the rice. It's as crispy as possible. To get that to stick together, we'll make a caramel. We send half a can of corn syrup into a saucepan, 6 kilograms of sugar. We put that on the stove. Be sure to use a candy thermometer. The temperature needs to reach 146 degrees. Pour out the airy rice and mix that into the caramel. We'll pour this whole mass on top of the mold and try to stick it to the whole cauldron. This is where it all went wrong. The caramel cooled down really quickly and is falling apart, and it doesn't hold its shape at all. And so this is difficult to call these cauldrons normal forms. We decided to redo everything. We ordered acrylic semicircles. We opened them up. And take them out. I think that this is perfect. So to keep everything from sticking to the molds, we spray with oil from a can onto the inner walls of the circle. This time, to get the rice to stick, we'll use marshmallows. We put 2 packs in a bowl and put that into the microwave. They melted down pretty well. It turns out the consistency of an elastic cream. We put the air rice in the same bowl. Combine all this with a spatula. We're left with a viscous mass, and I think we'll be fine with it. Spray some oil onto your gloves so that the marshmallow doesn't stick. And send this mass into the bowl. Now distribute it all around the form. And we continue to do this until we cover the inner walls completely. Done. The next stage is the chocolate paste inside. We take 2 boxes of butter, take them out, and put 2 sticks into a saucepan. We put it on the stove so that it melts. And done. Now we need a lot of condensed milk. This one we have left after the last video. We need peanuts and cocoa. Put the blender bowl on the scales and put 300 grams of peanuts into it. 2 tablespoons of cocoa. We open 2 cans of condensed milk. And pour those in as well. And last but not least, 200 grams of butter. Cover that with a lid and put it into the blender and turn it on. We grind this until we get a homogeneous mass. The consistency of the paste, like Nutella, is quite dense. Using a spatula, we shift the paste into the bowl. We keep repeating this from time to time. And after about 6 hours of work, the condensed milk, butter, and almost all the nuts are finished. And the forms are even less than half full. I had to buy all the groceries again. We continue making the chocolate paste. Now, once the forms are completely filled, it took 8 hours. And finally, this stage is finished. The next layer is the whole nut. We need to make 2 huge halves of hazelnuts. We'll use a lot of this nut. Now, the hazelnuts are raw and don't really smell. To fix this, pour it into 2 baking sheets and pop them in the oven. Let them warm up for 20 minutes to release their fragrance. To hold the nuts together, we'll cook another caramel. The composition is exactly the same. Corn syrup, a packet of sugar, and water. Pop all that on the stove, and be sure to use a candy thermometer. As soon as it's 145 degrees, we take out the finished nuts and put them into the saucepan. Mix them well with the caramel. We move this over to a bowl, which is the same shape as our hemisphere. Done. As soon as the caramel is hardened, we remove the bowl and tear off the parchment paper. We're left with a perfect half of a huge nut, or rather 2. Just put them in the middle of the mold into the chocolate paste. We spread the paste with a spatula so that there's a layer of the same height everywhere. Now this candy is very soft, and if you take it out of the mold, it'll just fall apart. So we send these semicircles into the freezer. That's where they'll cool down, and the chocolate filling will become dense. 2 days later, and the candy is completely cooled. Before you get to it, you need to prepare a lot of things. First, make the packaging. We bought this kind of packaging gold paper. To repeat the design, we crush it with our hands. Then we straighten it back. We unwind the double-sided tape and glue on another sheet. We have 6 in total, and we want to combine them into a huge one. Done. This second stage. For our future outer layer, you need to add nuts. Everything is simple. Put them into a blender and crush until you get like an average fraction. Pour that into another bowl. The third preparatory stage, we take a chocolate bar, open it, and break it. We fill the whole bowl with these pieces. Now we'll melt this in a steam bath. It decreases in volume, so we break more. And that's it. We can have a bowl of hot chocolate. Now for last, make some more chocolate paste in order to glue the halves together. We need to wrap the table well with cling wrap. Finally, you can bring the chilled halves back for the candy. We cut off the protruding air rice. Turn the form over. That's 1/2. Now for the second one. Thank God everything went well and nothing cracked. Spread all this over with a layer of chocolate. The easiest way is to pour the chocolate directly from the layer and spill it with a spatula. Now, sprinkle the crushed nuts on top until they stick to the whole candy. And we put another layer of chocolate on top of that. We mix it with the nuts directly with a spatula so that it looks just like the original. Done. It turned out perfectly. And we repeat all this for the second half. As soon as the chocolate is frozen, we cut the food film off and put one half onto a board. Remove the cling wrap and apply the chocolate paste to glue the candy halves together. We put the second one on top. Everything is almost ready, and I feel like this is just as similar as possible to the original smaller version. So let's seal it. Due to the fact that this is paper, not foil, it turned out not very smoothly, and so the final touch is the sticker. Finally, after 4 days of hard work, our giant Ferrero Rocher candy weighing 100 kilograms is ready. I feel like it turned out really well. I calculated its cost. Taking into account of all the additional purchases, it turned out to be $940. Let's cut off a piece.
Hello everybody. Today we're going to cook noodles in 1 minute, in 1 hour, and in 1 day. Our minute has started. During this time you can manage, except that, to brew ready-made noodles. Open it up and add some spices. Pour in some boiling water. And after waiting a little bit, we have some ready noodles. Let's try it. These noodles don't taste delicious at all. Now we will cook noodles in 1 hour. We need some chicken eggs. We break off 5 pieces. Pour 200 grams of flour onto the table, and we catch only the yolks with our hands. Then we're going to make a little funnel in the flour and fill it with our yolks. Here's a little bit of olive oil, salt, and we begin to knead, first with a fork, and then with our hands. The egg dough is ready. Wrap it in film and let it rest for 15 minutes. Then sprinkle some flour onto the table. We take out the rested dough and roll it out with a rolling pin. Once we have a large layer of dough, we begin to fold it. And cut it into strips. Now we just need to straighten out the noodles and just tossing with our fingers. And throw that on to cook. This is not dry pasta, so they cook way faster. Literally 2 minutes can be drained through a colander. Cut off the pulp from a red pepper. And cut it into small strips. Next we have the carrot. We plate it out so we have such small layers. And then into small strips. Last up, we have chicken thighs. Cut them into pieces. Pour some oil into a frying pan. And we'll fry up our chicken first. With a little layer, we add our vegetables. Let's fry them for just a couple of minutes. And all right, next, we'll make a ketchup-based sauce. Use some hot sauce sriracha, teriyaki sauce, chili pepper, ground black pepper, and red. It remains to mix it well and the sauce is ready. We send this into our wok. And now we add the egg noodles and mix it for the last time. Now let's remove it from the stove and transfer it into a bowl. And just like that, our 1 hour noodles are ready. Now we just need to dry them. Yeah, these noodles are 10 times tastier than the last ones. They're like sweet, sour, and spicy. Well, let's move on to the noodles that are going to take us a whole day to prepare. Especially for this, we prepared a parcel with Chinese products with a lot of interesting things inside of it. We open it up. And the first thing that we see are these black beans. We're going to make a special paste out of them. We open them and pour them into a bowl. Fill this with water and leave this in the form to soak for as long as 8 hours. The next thing from our Chinese box is sesame oil. We will fry everything on this, and it has an unusual flavor. Let's grate some ginger directly into the pan. Add a small hot pepper. Drain the remaining water from the black beans. And throw them into the frying pan as well. First, fry them a little bit. And then fill it with water. This also includes soy sauce, sugar, and vinegar. Cook the beans until they finally become soft. Then pour the contents of the frying pan into a blender. Grind it all into a paste. Done. Now pour the bean paste into a bowl. The next lot is this Chinese kansui powder. This is an alkali for the dough, which makes it very viscous. We open it and pour 30 grams into a bottle. Pour 70 milliliters of cold water in. We close the bottle and shake it so that it dissolves into the powder and water. We will also need Chinese flour with a high gluten content. We send 1 kilogram to the bowl. Pour half a liter of cold water in. And here we add half of our mixture with kansui powder, 20 grams of salt, and put this under the mixer. We're going to knead our dough for 30 minutes. Now wrap it up in film. And throw it into the fridge for 2 hours. It's already rested. Pour some oil onto the table. We open up the dough. Put it on top of the oil. Flatten it out. Pour on the water with Kunzui powder for elasticity. And knead it. It feels like this dough is more like a huge gum. We're gonna turn this into like a sausage type thing. Stretch it out at the sides as if hitting the table. Then we twist it into a pigtail. Fold it twice more, and repeat the same action for another 10 minutes. Thanks to this, the dough will stretch even better. Then we cut it into smaller pieces. Cover it with a film and let it rest for 10 minutes. We take one piece, sprinkle it with Chinese flour, and roll it into a tube. Then we stretch it out. Fold it 2 times, stretch even harder, fold again, stretch, and repeat this several more times. And you're left with these really thick noodles. We're gonna put this on to cook. These types of noodles cook for literally 30 seconds. Now drain it into a colander. And now we go back. In order for the noodles not to stick together, we add some sesame oil and mix. For the filling, cut an onion into large pieces. And a leek, we cut down the center. And we dice it. Next, we have bell mushrooms. Each mushroom is cut into 4 parts. Fresh ginger. First, we peel it with a spoon. We cut it first into thin slices. And then mega thin straws. Pork belly. We're gonna cut it to the exact same principle. Done. We're also going to use shrimp and squid for these noodles, but first they need to be boiled. Literally 30 seconds, then we get them out. Done. Now we take our bean paste. You're also going to need some oyster sauce, chicken bouillon cubes, monosodium glutamate. It is used all the time in Asia. Sesame oil, and let's go out. We'll use a reactive oven like this to cook. But first we need to chop some firewood into small chips. So we open up the compartment for firewood, reignite some dry fuel, and drop it in. You can throw in some shards of wood. This compartment can be closed, but the air vent, on the contrary, is open. The fire is lit, and you can pour some sesame oil into the wok. First, fry up the pork. Then our onions and leeks, and mix. Pour in some soy sauce. For flavor, ginger mushrooms, and seafood. Fry all this on the Megasol fire. A little sugar, oyster sauce, granulated chicken bouillon, monosodium glutamate to enhance the taste, and a little bit of our bean paste. Now mix it up again. Fill this all up with water. Also, you need to dilute a little bit of starch in the water. And pour it into the wok too, so that the sauce becomes thicker. It's time to add the noodles. And finally, we cut the green onions. Transfer them into the wok. And mix it for a final time. And with that, it's ready. Now it can be transferred into a bowl.